Wednesday Wonders. We are here, Wednesday Wonders, with Donna McCauley, and she has another great template she's going to be showing off for us today. Donna, this coil template I think is just stunning, and you've got a special gift for everyone today. You've got a special pattern that you're going to be sharing with everyone as a handout. So I am super excited to be posting a link to that handout today too for everyone joining us. I just wanted to share a couple things as we're diving into today to let everybody know how all the ways that they might be able to win and or participate in our live. So few different ways to participate and win in our live. The number one thing that you're going to want to win today is this amazing coil set. If you don't already have this amazing coil set, you will win it by the end of our Wednesday Wonders today. So this is a 4-piece template set. We're going to share a link to it here shortly. This 4-piece template set is going to be demonstrated. You're going to see some inspiration. You're going to have a handout on what you can do with it. So the way that you win this is you go to our Facebook page, So Steady on Facebook. Go to the very top. We have the post pinned to the top where you tell us what this template design makes you wonder what you could do with it. So I've already seen some awesome posts. In fact, we already have 100 different comments on what people might want to do with this. One of my favorites is that they thought it might represent wood grain really well as something they could put into a quilt. What do you think about that, Donna? That's pretty cool, don't you think?
That it would represent, what was that?
Wood grain, like
wood
grain
grain.
of wood.
Yeah. I think that's what you said. I think that's a brilliant idea.
Isn't that awesome? Yeah, so I thought that was brilliant, but there's a whole bunch of more amazing comments. So I'm super excited to share with everybody what all of you thought you might be able to do with this amazing template, what it made you wonder about. So Donna is going to show you how you can create some amazing designs. She's going to give you some inspiration. So that's one way to win. This is I think this is like the grand prize. So we're going to give everybody a chance to comment throughout the live today. So go over to our Facebook, make a comment on that post. It's pinned to the top. Tell us what this set is going to make you wonder what to do. So another way to win today. So we're going to give everyone a chance to win. We're going to have $10 credits to our So Steady website for every 25 shares. We've done that the last couple weeks. People are loving it. Who doesn't want cash, right? Cash to use at a website that you definitely are going to want to buy something with. Maybe it's just stable tape, right, Donna? You said that these templates might need some extra stable tape. Maybe it's just stable tape.
Yeah, that would be a great idea.
Yeah, but $10, that's going to get you a set of stable tape. So, so every 25 shares on our live today, we're going to give away $10 to our website. So that's exciting. So then we have one more giveaway today that we're going to share with you right now. And that is going to be one of we call it our imperfect design pad. It's slightly imperfect because when the print company printed it off, they actually kind of enlarged the image. So here's the deal with this design pad. It's super cool. You get to make amazing designs with it. But you should always be using a crosshair square anyways. So I don't know that you absolutely need to use that grid as it's intended, which is a 1-inch grid. So you know exactly. It's just slightly off. Okay. But we are giving one of these imperfect design pads away. So one lucky winner will get one of these amazing design pads. Look how huge it is. So just this space alone, this drawing space is 17 by 17. So that's going to be our third winner. We're going to pick all 3 today, or actually hopefully more for the $10 too. So stay tuned. We're going to do those giveaways towards the end of our live, or as we get the 25 shares, we'll be announcing those winners. All right. So Donna, tell us about the coil template. I'm going to put you full screen so everybody can see this a little bit better.
Okay. Well, this coil template, it's really kind of fun to use. There are 4 different templates in the set. And when you order your template, you will also get on the back side a little bit of an information sheet that tells you how to read the template and some ideas of what you can do with it. But the best part, I think, is this pattern. And so this is a 6-page handout that we have for you today. And it might overwhelm you slightly when you first take a look at it and think, oh my gosh. But let me tell you, it is the blueprint to create this back here. And so I had to have 6 pages in order to get the information. And honestly, Stacy, because we have such a short amount of time today, I'm kind of thinking we probably need to do about a 2-hour class in a couple of months to be able to show everyone how to do their very own and how they could use it on an edge-to-edge all over quilt or just in a border. So there's lots of things you can do to it, but these 4 templates is actually, there was only 3 of them, but the set of 4 templates is all that you need for this scroll work.
Oh, I love it. Well, I can imagine that there might be a few people out there that would love a class on that amazing design. So I think that you're going to show us on how the template's used today, and then we're going to tease them with a class opportunity, right?
Well, I kind of think so. So there are quite a few people out there that do have the templates, and I've seen some really fun things that's been done with them. But I know that there's also some that have the templates that they've not used. And so the rest of you, you're going to have time to get your templates ordered before we do the class. So one thing I want to tell you, this is the, let me bring the camera down a little bit closer here. Have to make some technical adjustments as we go. I don't have my TV crew here with me today. So this is the template. Let's see if we can get the light straightened out. And this is one of the 4 templates. It is the 4.5-inch coils. With that black, it's hard to see. And you can, I've had different people tell me all kinds of things that it makes them think of, anywhere from a stove burner, electric stove, all the way up to tornadoes and all kinds of things. Anyway, it is a coil, and that is the whole exact purpose of this template. When I developed it and the 3 other sizes, it was in mind to do this scroll work type work with it. And so what's really kind of interesting, I don't know how many pieces of staple tape you normally use, but I have 6 or 8 pieces on both sides of this template. So Stacy's going to love that part because she's going to have to provide, or not provide, but have available a lot of staple tape for you.
Well, I will tell you that they get 2 whole strips inside the set.
Okay.
So yeah, they might need more. It looks like you're definitely using a lot more on that template.
They might use more. And so the reason that I have more is because when I'm working with it, not only do I hold my hands out on the corners like we normally do, but I frequently have them on the sides. And so you want to be able to have plenty of gripping space. But with this particular template, this part, it's all a single piece, but it is flexible. And I don't know if you can see, I'm kind of wiggling it back and forth a little bit, but it's so small, you don't really want to put staple tape in there. So while we're working with it, you're going to want to hold your fingers down in the area where you're stitching. Okay, so that's just a little tip on using it. If you're trying to hold it on the corners only, it's going to move around as you press on it. And then if you need to backtrack, you may not end up right on your other stitches. But because it is flexible, it's very forgiving. It's not going to hold it against you if you get off track slightly. And when you're all finished, you're not even going to notice it. I have some parts in my project over here where my backtracking parallels my original stitching, and it's okay. The template doesn't mind. So let's take a look at what the other sizes are real quick. I do want to show you how it works. This is the 4.5 inch and a 5 inch. And so you can see that we increase in size for each one by 1/2 inch. Now that might not seem like a lot of variation, but when you start working with it and see how much you can do, it's a lot. So this template is the 6 inch, and my stitch pattern is going to be 6 inches across and up and down. So it will create a 6-inch spiral. So the number size represents the finished stitch size. The overall template is probably about 7.5 inches square. So it's a good size, but even if you have a small throat on your machine, you should still be able to get through most of it. So if you are able to use a thicker template, these are high shank. They are a little less flexible than a low shank. So if you have the option for one or the other, then you might want to go to the higher shank size for the thickness. But they all work.
We definitely offer them in all 3 thicknesses. So
exactly. So this is really great. We have the low shank, high shank, and of course the long arm. So we have the thread slot on the side of each one of them. Let's take a look real quick like at the pattern, because there's a little bit of information there I want to share with you before we turn on the machine. Here's our cover page. In the original photo that we had, I believe it may have said it was 24 by 32, and the actual finished size turns out to be 36. So that can be changed. That's not a big deal, just so you know. Then we have the second page. This is a template orientation chart. Now, why do we need to have that? Well, we have stable tape on both the top and the bottom of the templates. And that way we can flip them over and stitch on one side or the other. By doing that, we have our original template layout right here in the pink. The second one, option 2, or orientation 2, is reversed. And then we have right side up. This one just flipped. And then this one flipped. And so we actually can get 4 different arrangements with one template. So we have 4 templates, 4 arrangements. That's 16 different patterns that you can get out of these 4 templates.
I'm going to post a link to this handout again. This is a handout that anyone that's here today is just going to get.
Perfect.
For being part of our event right now. That's the first prize, Donna.
What was that?
That's our first prize. You know, that kind of reminds me of is like a musical.
It does.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like a note.
Like a note. That's right. So this portion here, let's go back to the cover page real quick. Like, we have a center unit, left unit, and a right unit on the front page. But because of the size, this is about 31 inches in total length when it's stitched out. And so just to make it, you'll see when we get into this instructions a little more, to make it easier, I separated an upper half and a lower half, okay? This is our center unit, upper half, and then here is the lower half, and right here, here, and here is where that would connect. So in order for you to see what we're talking about, I split it into 2 halves. And so that means there's 3 of these for the pattern. So it's not as overwhelming as it might look. The T number represents which template to use, and the O number is which one of the orientation layouts from this chart, 1, 2, 3, and 4, so that you can position the template on your fabric and get the result you want. So this isn't really math, but I've done that for you, and it's going to help you get it if you get it. Another tool.
That's such a neat little thing that you've got there for everyone.
What was that?
That's a great pattern that you're going to be sharing with everyone today.
Oh, this is really an interesting pattern. So we have actually the whole thing. The center unit is right here, and then the left and the right side is just variations of portions of that. So once you get this part figured out, you're on your way. And it really isn't as hard. But you know, I think that for the folks that have that design pad, doing this with the templates and the stitching line disc is a perfect way to figure out your orientation and alignment.
Yeah, I was thinking that. That's a great way to be able to do it. So I was wondering too, on because you're going to be demoing this for us here in a moment, I assume. When you're demoing this today, will you be demoing like the kind of like what you showed off there, which is the quadrants?
A little bit. Yes.
Okay, cool.
Not the whole thing because of our timing here today. We'll see how our time goes. So this is an essential tool. Let's turn it right side up. This is the basic marker. And lots of you folks have these, but it is essential with something like this. In the instructions, I show you that we need to mark a 1-inch grid. Let's bring the camera down a little more and see if we can get closer to that. So the lines in here, these blue lines represent marked lines that we have. So we're going to have 3 center lines, one for our center, one for the left, and one for the right. And then we're going to have 1-inch marks. And you don't have to mark the whole entire project, but you need to know where these are. You don't need to. They will help you. I also show 1 inch each side of that center line. Now, the reason why these are helpful is because you can tell exactly where the center of each little scroll is to be positioned on those grid marks.
Oh, I love it. Okay, I'm going to post a link to the basic marker right now. That's going to be an amazing marking tool that you're going to just want to have in your sewing room.
It is so helpful.
All kinds of ruler work, but especially edge to edge. So Donna, I would love to see how the coil works. Before we do that, I want to go ahead and just remind everyone, we're doing this cool little thing where depending on if every 25 shares we get for during the live today, we're going to pick a winner to get $10 in credits to our Sew Steady website. So, and those $10 can also be used as credits in a store. So you can take advantage of that as well. We do have a post on our Facebook page for those of you who are just joining us. The very top of the Sew Steady Facebook page, there's a post pinned, and it's what would this template make you wonder what you could do. So just tell us in a comment what you would be wondered into if you had this amazing template, and then we're giving away the entire 4-piece set to one lucky winner today. So you definitely want to get in on that if you can. If you don't already have that set, this is a great opportunity to win it. And then we have one other giveaway today, which is going to be our Imperfect Design Pad. And we're giving that away to announce that we've got an awesome sale going on this week, where every $50 you spend on our Sew Steady website, you're getting one of those Imperfect Design Pads with it. So every purchase of $50 more towards Sew Steady or Westerly or DMQuilting templates, you're going to qualify for an imperfect design pad, so a place to draw out these amazing designs. So just keep that in mind. And so Donna, did you want to share any more about the pattern right now?
Well, this last page of the pattern just shows a little bit of inspiration on what it would look like. Is my camera blurry there?
It is blurry, yeah. It's kind of
Oh,
hard to see what we're looking at there.
well, shoot. Let's see if we can straighten it up.
Much better. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what we have here on this back page is just a combination of multiple rows. So if we wanted to do an edge-to-edge effect on a quilt, for example, and not just a small unit like I have in my sample, but multiple rows, then we would have something that looks like this. Or you could even go to the bigger version and have more and more rows of that same pattern. Picking and choosing and twisting and turning is going to be how it works. But the basics of what it does, all of the information is in the instructions. So I can't wait to see how this gets used. It turns out to look on the printed part like it's not as big as what it actually is. And we can increase the size or decrease the size depending on which template you use of the coils. So let's take a look closer at the stitch sample.
Oh, let's do it.
So I hope everyone has had a chance to print out their instructions, and I'm sure those will still be available for you for a little while, if not.
Yeah, I mean, I just posted the handout link, so they'll have the opportunity to do that for sure. Either during or after, because you can access those comments right there in the Facebook post to print that off.
Okay, so here we are. We have to back up again. This is the top. Now I have our center row that I stitched out here. I used a darker color thread so you could see the basics of what we were doing. And then I used lighter color thread because I wanted to see the texture. And so that's an important thing when you're working on a project like this. If all you want to see is the stitching, then you want a contrast color, whether much darker or much lighter than what your fabric is. But when you want to see all of the texture and just simply the beauty of the design without the thread, basically, then you might want to go to a slightly lighter or slightly darker than what your fabric is.
Oh, I love it. Someone just commented that it reminded them or that they love to do the lollipop designs.
Oh,
and I
yeah.
totally see that. Isn't that great?
Yeah. So this is how big it is. You can see here, I only used the largest template that I used was the 5.5, the 5.5 right here. And most of them do not even use the entire template. These 2, 3 are all the 4.5-inch template, but only a part of it. And so even though they're bigger templates, that doesn't mean you have to have a great big design. But what you're going to have is consistency in the sizes of your sections. So let's put a template up here and maybe that'll help you see it a little better.
Oh, someone else just commented it reminds them of a wrought iron fence.
Oh, it does, huh?
Mm-hmm, like the ornate fences. I love that.
So here the template is positioned over this set of stitching here, and you can tell it stops right here. And then we change locations to another pattern or orientation. So we could have gone even bigger, but didn't. And this is the beauty and the versatility in these templates. It's pretty endless. We can go from just a small little curve all the way out to a great big coil. But we can also use this outer edge as a stem, for example, as a connector. We have one right down here that you can see. And so here our coil comes along, but then we come back and stop right there and have a connector stitch or a transition down to our next scroll. And that's created with just part of the template. So
I love it.
It's so involved looking, but
yeah,
easy to do.
I love that. I can't wait to see you stitch it out. We've got tons of questions on how it works. So I think we got to see you stitch it out. While you're getting set up, I wanted to go ahead and just remind everyone to share. We're at 21 shares right now. So if we get to 25, we'll give away our first $10 for our Sew City website. And then we continue to get some amazing comments right there on our Sew City Facebook page. If you make comments like it would be perfect for lollipops or it'd be great for a wrought iron fence, all those need to go onto that post, which is again at the very top of our Sew City Facebook page, so you can win or have a chance to win the whole set. So, all right, Donna is going to show us how we use this template. Everybody's curious, like, is it continuous stitching? All kinds of questions like that, Donna. So you're going to have to answer those as you go, okay?
I will. So it is continuous stitching until you run out of bobbin thread.
Yeah. There you go.
So each of the center unit was all one stitching. I did break threads at the end of that and move to the next row. You would not have to if you were going across the outer edge of the page, and then you could just stitch down to your next location. But because this is centered out here in the middle with just blank space at the end of it, I had to stop once I got here. But for the most part, I've got 32 inches of stitching there without any thread breaks. So the amazing thread slot lets us just change our template, whether we're flipping sides or changing to a different size. This one I have here is the 5.5 template, and let's just put it on here somewhere. I have it right side up. I'm going to start in the center. Now here, you're going to want to have a longer thread tail on this because you got to hold on to that while you get started. And I don't always have a huge one. I know some folks do, and that's perfectly okay. But if you do not, you will want a longer thread tail to start, because you want to be able to get out of the way of your stitching. So I'm starting in the very center of this 5.5 inch template, and I'm going to hold it down. Now, if I don't hold it down, there is just a slight amount of space between the edge. It isn't like the straightaway where it is exactly the same size as the foot. It's just a hair more. But when you're working with it, it's possible that you're going to flex a little bit. So you do want to kind of pay attention a little bit to the outer or to one of the edges. It doesn't matter which one. So let's start. And I'm going to do a few little stitches almost in place just so I can cut that thread off. And maybe I stitched enough. And now I'm going to hold this little, they're not really peninsulas like what we have in the winding ways, but they're flexible little coils. And so it will move. I put my fingers in here and hold on to that, and I'll stitch around to here and reposition my hands. You're not going to want to go too fast because it is a small space and you can push the template. But you don't have to creep along at turtle speed either. Okay, so I don't really know what we're going to do except come along and let's get out of there a little more. But you can see how I'm careful not to let the template move, and I'm simply moving my hands and keep my control near where I'm stitching. Okay, let's come down here just a little more. Now, I'm going to show you how easy it is to get out of there and go to a different side. Actually, let's just turn the template around. I'm not moving my fabric, and I have to do this and not get confused. Swirl around my foot, lift my foot, and slide out the slot. Now I can turn my template over, and I can do another coil or spiral right over here. I can come back this direction. I can maneuver and go to just a small portion, or I can put a stem and come out here. So let's just do that. Let's connect back here up to the edge of where our other spiral is. So you can see we can do all of this without having to break threads. Now let's come on around. And let's go all the way back inside and do just a little one. I'm going to turn the fabric here. We wouldn't do that in the big quilt, but I'm doing it here just so you can see what we're doing. So let's go on in all the way to the center. And we're going to stop and take an extra stitch. Now I'm going to put my finger on that little part right inside there and come right back out.
Hey, another good question came in. Someone asked if you can make these designs touch each other.
Absolutely. There's no rule about how much space they have to have apart. It's just whatever you prefer. So we can do that easily, just simply by matching up where we need to go. There's lots of reference lines on here, diagonal, vertical, horizontal, and all of that, so you can stay consistent with your alignment. So now we're just simply backtrack back out of there, and let's switch over to a different template, and we're going to make them connect. Get a little dizzy. So it's really kind of fun, but it's different than a lot of the templates that we've worked with. They do not work on a pin. We simply put them where we want them. Now, if you want to mark them all out ahead of time, that's okay, but it isn't necessary. So look here, this kind of looks like a little snail that we created, just using part of the inside of our 5-inch and then creating a tentacle coming out. This now we've gone to the 4.5-inch template, and let's turn it completely over the other direction. And do we want to make them touch? Let's see about doing that. I don't want to run out of fabric.
Linda Smith was just asking, was the design on the front of the pattern made with just multiple coil sizes, or were there any other templates?
No, only the coils. So in the instructions, I used the 4.5, 5-inch, and the 5.5-inch of the templates. And that was only because my center vertical lines are 6 inches apart. I didn't want the 6-inch template to get too close.
Someone said it reminds them of snails.
Some of it does. I kind of like cinnamon rolls better than snails.
There you go. I like cinnamon rolls too. I definitely like that over escargot.
Absolutely. Sweet is always a better treat.
I would think so.
So here we are in the middle, and we're going to just hold it in place and come right back out.
Okay, we do have our first winner for the $10 that we already got to 25 shares. So our first winner for $25 to our Sew Steady website is going to be Manon Lepage. Hopefully I pronounced your name right, but you won $25 or $10 to our So Steady website. Just email us, please, and I'll post that information here shortly. Again, every 25 shares, we're going to be giving that away. So keep on sharing, guys. Sharing is caring, and then you win.
So you can see here, I'm kind of going fast and I'm not really paying close attention. And you can see how much off I am in my stitching, but it's not that big of a deal. It's very correctable and it doesn't take a lot of work to stay in the right place. So I just come back down to where we connected, and let's come off out here and overlap it just a little bit. So we can just kind of do however you want. This is not exactly what that pattern was. We're just kind of creating one out here right now. But you can see how easily you could do edge to edge. You just kind of don't forget where you are in your process of traveling across the quilt. Let's turn this guy over.
So what I'm seeing here, Donna, is there's just a whole bunch of start and stop locations to be able to do, to really add, you know, be a consistent design. So you have markings on the templates to kind of show you start and stop.
Not totally. You need to kind of refer on the pattern. There's little red X's at the start spots, which is then your next, it's kind of a transition point. You're going to stop and adjust the template or change to the next template as you need to.
So like for just a standard design though, if you were to get these templates in your possession, then it looks like that you stitch from A to B.
Correct.
And you would move the template and start at A again.
Right. No, you would, let's see if we can do that. You could go from A to B and flip your template or spin your template and go back from B to A. Does that make sense? Let's just do that.
Yeah, let's see that just as like how you would create consistent designs.
So, you know, here we're just doing some of the connecting kind of things similar to what was done in the pattern. Go part of it, stop, switch, change your template according to the chart, and carry on to the next.
Wow, that's just gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful designs.
Well, it was really an easy one to put together, and I'm glad that so many are liking it.
Someone was just asking, would you need to mark a large quilt with 1-inch markings to do this?
No, you wouldn't really have to have the whole thing marked with 1 inch. You have your vertical lines and then 1 inch up and down that vertical line, if that makes sense. The whole thing doesn't have to be marked.
And would you say that the 1 inch is more if you're going to do that fancy pattern that you created, not necessarily for just doing regular template?
The 1 inch is for this scroll work pattern. If you are not doing it, then you don't need any kind of markings. You can just have a horizontal line if you're traveling in rows across your fabric.
Just to line up that center spot, right?
Yeah. Just so you aren't going off in a sideways direction. So here I'm kind of overlapping some of the other stitches that we made, just so we can get over to that end of the template, because once we get around to B, I want to show you how we can just turn the template without having to flip it.
Someone was saying just how much more versatile these templates are than they thought.
Exactly. Well, this is why we wanted to do this little demonstration today, to let you see just exactly what you can do. So here we are, started at A, ended at B, and we're going to spin the template, keeping it at B. and keep it right there. I have to turn my fabric so you can see. And so here we are, connecting right there to that. Looks like I probably could use a bigger piece of fabric for this part of it.
Yeah, I think switching either to a smaller design or a bigger piece of fabric would be helpful for sure.
But this is the smallest template. So what we're showing here, and I don't know how well you can see that. I can grab another piece of fabric. It'd almost be easier. But we started right here, came all the way around, got to over to here, and spin the template around the foot, and then continue with this portion of it going that way. So we could do this across the page. In doing that, we will end up with a pattern like one of these. Now this one here is stitched our whole pattern, and then we back stitch and stop at this point and move the template over and repeat all of that again. This kind of makes me think of ocean waves.
Yeah, I love that.
And here we have all 4 templates stitched right on top of each other. And I put this together, kind of makes me think of ram's horns, but that's not what I'd want to do in my quilt. It's just to show you there is variation from one size to the next.
Excellent. Just to announce that we do have a few other giveaways that we're going to be doing today. We're going to be announcing those here shortly. Donna, did you have any other demoing you wanted to do?
I have another piece of fabric if we want to do that a little more cleanly.
Or sure. Yeah, we can do, let's show how you connect them after 3 coils, because I think the backtracking is going to be really helpful to see.
Well, let's see here. I still have a small piece of fabric.
Oh.
I don't know if I can get 3 of them on here. We can try.
We'll see if we can, yeah.
Sideways, maybe.
There you go. We'll try that.
So one thing, okay, let's just try that and see what we get. I'm game if you are.
Okay, let's give it a shot.
Well, actually, let's not start all the way at the middle. How's that? Are you guys okay with that? We'll just kind of cheat and pretend that so we can get more on.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. So we'll start kind of right there.
We'll just do a part of a coil.
Okay.
So one thing about this, you know, if you wanted to draw it out, you know, I think that's probably, if you've not worked with the coil templates, that's probably not a bad idea to do on the sketch pad with your stitching line disc, just so you get a feel for the direction. It can get a little bit confusing, and we don't want that. So
someone asked what comes in the 4-piece set. So they're going to get 4.5 by 4.5, 5.5 by 5.5, 5 by 5, and 6 by 6.
Correct.
Yeah.
And, you know, they are available individually, but always the set is the better way to go, because you're just going to get more bang for your buck. Or
you get more options.
Templates for your money. Okay,
that's right.
I placed a little mark over there to show where we rotated the template. And now let's just go right on around. So I know that a lot of times, you know, we think that having smaller templates are easier to work with, but you're not going to be able to create this kind of a design. And if our template gets really much smaller than what this one is, which is the 4.5, we're not going to have any acrylic in there to be able to work with. So you can see we work around the edge of the foot. I'm not rotating the fabric around it. I'm just simply moving around the foot.
So someone was just asking, how much is the whole set? So the whole set, all 4 sizes, is going to be $80. Or you can purchase each individual size, and they range in prices from $21 up to $27.
So here we are at A, and now we're going to want to come right back out. This is our pretend second one. So putting staple tape out here in the middle isn't really going to do you any good. It could still move around, and holding it in position and going a little, well, slower, maybe not so much slower, but more cautiously than what I'm doing, because I don't want to run out of time on you. And so if you're a little more precise in where you're positioned, you can do it without getting off the edges. So once here I'm out of line, I just want to get down to where here we have markings on the template. I don't have to come all the way around to my very end point. I can come right to that location, which is a horizontal mark on the template. And now I'm ready to adjust my template. I can come to the end, and now I can come right on over and start my next sequential spiral. So this is how we could connect them, or we could come in here and start right there and do this portion. So there's lots of different ways you can go with it. You really have to, you don't have to know what you want to do, but playing with them on some plain fabric like we're using here, or scrap product, is a good way to figure out what you want to do. Or maybe even on the sketch pad. Because with that, what I've discovered is that that's a lot quicker working on paper with the stitching line disc than putting together quilt sandwiches and trying to figure out what I want to do on fabric. I can save that for after I figured out what I want to do.
Someone was just asking what's the best stitch length to set the stitch at?
Well, let me tell you about the stitch length. These are kind of long, as you can see here, because I'm not moving well, but we're doing free motion. And so we have our stitch length does not even enter into it. We simply work by moving our hands and the speed of our machine. So together, that combination determines your stitch length. And of course, you're going to want to have your ruler work glider, or just straight glider underneath the grid glider. So you can easily move while you have those feed dogs down.
Someone was asking if the channel is large enough that you need to hug one side of the or the other to make the stitching line smooth and not wobbly.
What was that question again?
So sometimes channels are a little too wide, so then you have to pick if you're going to be hugging one side of the channel or the other in order to make sure that the stitch is smooth, or even like when backtracking to make sure you're backtracking accurately. So is this channel just wide enough for a 1/2-inch ruler foot?
Well, you can see here, I think, my foot is a 1/2 inch and it's touching both sides, but you have flexibility in here. See this part moving? And so that's why I like to hold it down. And if I'm not being real careful, I can get away from my stitches. I'm not being real careful. I'm just trying to get it finished here.
Yeah.
But you can hold it down and stay right on track. So it's possible to backtrack with these cleanly.
Okay, cool.
But there's flexibility here, and this is what causes you to get off. So if you're pushing on one side, then that's gonna happen. And of course, if you don't have all that extra stable tape on there, you're even more likely to slide and slip. So let's see where we need to go. I think we went too far. So I got to backtrack again to go back to where I need to be. But that's no big deal. And you know, the key thing here, like over here, using that lighter thread, which is closer to my fabric, it kind of helps your little off stitching not even show up. So it's pretty forgiving.
Okay, cool. So the backtracking is definitely necessary, but I think that we got the gist of it then. So what I was thinking about doing is taking people through some of the amazing Wednesday Wonder comments that were shared and then announcing the template set winner. What do you think?
I think that's a good idea. While you're doing that, I do want to put up here a piece that I played with one time here not too long ago. This was from our Daisy Centerpiece class where we did the template work, but I came along and used the coils for just some background fill overlapping in there. Now I used a different color thread, and if I had had something more in line with what my fabric is, then it wouldn't stand out quite as much. It would just give some texture.
Yeah, I love that.
So
that's beautiful.
This is just another way, you know, that you can use these in parts of them or all of them and have them work together.
Absolutely. All right, so we have some amazing comments that I'm going to just kind of run through. I know I can't share all of the amazing comments that we have in here today, but some was saying that they thought this would look amazing on a kaleidoscope quilt they made with Ricky Tim's class. Another one said that they thought, again, this would be amazing for ocean waves. Yeah, we had, of course, the ornate fence comment during the live there, but definitely excited to look at this for maybe making a more frilly design. So all kinds of fun ideas coming through here. Snail trail quilt, that's cute. I love that. Someone wanted to maybe put it on their Noah's Ark quilt. We even have a quilt inspiration here. I love this. So someone that maybe using it for bubbles coming from the fish's mouth. That's a fun idea. That's a fun idea. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and officially pick our winner here, Donna. So the winner today said that they were going to use it, and this is oh my goodness, let's see here. Let me go ahead. I'm going to officially pick a winner. Let's see here. We have the winner picked that Jean Stansberry, and she's going to use it for borders and for edge to edge on her charity quilts. So Jean is our lucky winner of the template set. Jean, I'm going to go ahead and post your link there and what you shared. That's awesome. We hope you absolutely use it in your charity quilts. And again, I'll just remind all our winners today to go ahead and email us, and I'll send that information over right here so you can do that. We talked a little bit about the our final giveaway today, which our final giveaway today we're going to be choosing from our comments during our live. So let's go ahead and head over to what we had in our live comments. It looks like we've had a few of those so far today. You guys have been very active. We love that. So our final giveaway today, that is going to be the design pad. And just to remind everyone, that's our slightly imperfect design pad. But we're going to be doing a giveaway, or anyone that purchases over $50 on our So Steady website is going to also get a design pad with their purchase. Now, that is going to be going through this Saturday. So you're gonna, any $50 on any templates, Westerly Design Tools or templates, and DMQuilting tools or templates, you're going to get a free Imperfect design pad with that, so you can draw out these designs. So the lucky winner for the design pad is going to be Regina Rooks. You are the lucky winner of the design pad. And we see the design pad as one of those things, if you already have it, hey, who doesn't want more drawing paper to work with? So Regina, you are the lucky winner of the design pad. So we'll go ahead and ask you again to go ahead and contact us to go ahead and let us know where to ship off that prize to. And then let me see, do we have another winner? Oh, we currently have 44 shares. So we're really close to having one more $10 to our So Steady website winner, but we need just 6 more shares. So anyone that hasn't shared on Facebook yet, the post today, we've got one more winner possibility. Donna, did you have anything else you wanted to share about these amazing coil templates?
No, I just think that they're really, really pretty awesome to work with. I think everyone needs a set, because what you can do with them is pretty endless. And be sure to get them on order so you can be part of our class on the scroll work.
Yeah, so we'll start planning out when that class is going to be. It sounds like Donna's going to have a 2-hour class where she's going to take you through that amazing pattern that she shared with everyone today. I did post a link to that pattern on both the Facebook page for So Steady and the Westerly by Me page, but I'll post it one more time. This is the link to the handout to the pattern. Right now I am showing you the DMQuilting coil templates right here on our So Steady Facebook page. So this is where you would go to purchase those templates. Again, you can purchase them in a 4-piece set, which you see right here, or you can purchase them in individual sizes. Donna, I kind of love how you created the design here on the screen that shows just a fill design, and it looks like that's kind of choosing almost more of a design that's a little bit more diagonal.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
What we have here is stitched out diagonally. Let's turn it so you're looking at it.
Exactly.
And, so that would just become right up here real close, and just position your next row so you'd come right along in between here. And so
I love it.
Position out. Think of clam shells, the way they fit together with that. So if we had a second row here, right up here, we'd end up with that diagonal pattern like you saw on the screen.
I love it. Well, all kinds of options. I think that we had lots and lots of great feedback. If you want to get some inspiration on what you could do with this amazing template set, go over to our Facebook page. We have a lot of amazing Wednesday Wonder ideas out there. We have our final winner for our $10 to our website or in So Steady products from one of our resellers. Remember, if you want to get free shipping, choose to pick this up in one of our resellers near you. That's just going to work in the continental US. I apologize if you're outside the US, but we do have an option for you to choose to pick it up in a reseller near you and not have to pay for shipping. So the final winner of our $10 to our So Steady website is Fran Eves. Fran, congratulations. Thank you for sharing. And again, that's our final winner for our shares today. We picked all our winners today, guys. Thanks for joining us live for our Wednesday Wonders with Donna. And we are going to look forward to hopefully having everyone join us again next Wednesday. What are we going to wonder about next Wednesday? Do you know, Donna?
Well, I'm kind of thinking we're going to do some wishing next week.
Ooh, we've got some wishes coming up, huh?
We're going to be working with the wishbone templates. Let's see if we can see that. And so
I love it.
If you have your wishbones, get them out. If you don't, get them on order, because these
Well, you know what? I don't even know that we have the wishbones on there yet. So we'll work on getting the wishbones on the page if we don't already have them, and we'll get that link and information out to everybody to be part of our Wednesday Wonders. And don't forget to take advantage, any purchase over $50 over the next or through Saturday, we'll get an extra design pad for all of you. So we'll look forward to seeing you next week, making wishes with our wishbones.